So we are at the end of the Golden Week celebration, essentially, and I want to do a recap on Golden Week. You see we have it here, and talk about where it fits into my rating. Was it a great Golden Week? Was it kind of a subpar Golden Week, or was it just okay? And I'm just going to give it a number rating at the end. So I guess you can skip there if you just want my overall thoughts. But this is going to be a video that's structured sort of going through the events listed, like actually what we got during the event in terms of content. And two things. I don't want to be unfair to this Golden Week, so we're going to make this right. So one, we're going to be using JP's version of Golden Week. Why are we doing that? Because that means that LR Boo and LR Vegito's EZAs are not in it. That should keep some consistency. And why am I doing that? I'm being fair because if you got Kefla, or not Kefla, I guess, cauliflower and kale from the tickets, that is not Golden Week. You know, we have to be fair. That has nothing to do with Golden Week because it is going to be a monthly thing. Golden Week did not invent this. Golden Week is not representative of this feature. It's just something that is happening during Golden Week. So, just to be fair, I will not be counting that for this Golden Week, and I will not be counting Vegito and EZA Boo for this Golden Week. You know what I mean? Hope that makes sense. But let's just get into it and start, shifting around and talking about different content aspects. So, premium characters, how did we do? Hit or miss, I think that's fair to say. Would anyone really disagree with that? So we have these 5 as our premiums, right? 5 is right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. We have a banner unit Piccolo, who is a bit of a gimmick unit, a bit of a meme unit. Has some flashes of interesting things that he does. Animation wise, pretty solid version of this skill, I'd say. It's not amazing, but it is actually, pretty good, especially for a banner unit. Would I say that this was a big roaring success of a unit? I would say no. While I always say that it is cool when they add characters who are very different from other characters. The issue with this Piccolo is that, and this is something that people kind of get wrong about my takes, the issue with this Piccolo is that they need to create an environment. They need to create an environment for stuff like this to be good. Right? Vegeta, just a very odd character. 2-turn support that floats, but it's on his super attack. It's not like he's exactly pumping out additionals either. So you're going to get one of these occurring per however many turns. If you're free to play, you definitely don't have this as a rainbow banner unit, right? Supporting Universe 6, definitely a character that Universe 6 needs. And this will be another point we get into after. But for now, I would say that Vegeta is not a particularly impressive banner unit. I'd say I might be in the camp where you could argue this is the worst unit structurally that they've ever released. He just doesn't seem to have much. His animations, pretty good. I like this fire effect. It's nice. Nice fire effect. I love this roiling lava and the Tin Man head shake. Pretty good. Pretty good. Hit is exceptional in places. I think the thing about Hit is that he would be exceptional in any other meta. Unfortunately, though, outside of Festival of Battles, he's just a character that I've found to be sketchy. And he's probably the character from this celebration I've used the most. And he just has an issue where he gets caught. He gets really caught. And it used to be the case that during... and maybe I can bring this up. Let tournament participants. It used to be the case that bosses hit weak enough that when you got caught by an odd normal or something, this character might still just live. He's after receiving attack, guards all attacks, and then he's got some damage reduction. This character might just live that one hit he gets popped by. Hit, because of the scaling of normals now, because of the odd choices to make things non-evadable, he's a character I've seen just get dusted over and over and over and over, and it's really surprising. That said, great Festival of Battles character. I'm not going to take that away from him. I think I've been in there once and he did really well, but you know, it's not something I like upload to the channel, so you know, how would you know? But yeah, he's fine. As for animations, I really do like his animations. I think they look really good. I don't really have any negatives to speak of. I think that some people get a little spun out when animations aren't 10 minutes long and have a billion color effects and stuff. I think Hit could be better. I would like to see them. I don't know if you guys played Dragon Ball Fighters, but have you ever seen Dragon Ball Fighters combos from Hit? You know that the character looks really fucking cool. So, do I think they're the perfect animations? No, but Golden Week, I think they're sufficient. I think they're sufficient animations. Maybe worse than the last 2 years though. Yeah. And then we move on to Kaioken Goku, all Aura Man. This guy looks pretty great. He suffers from the same animation faux pas that the Hit does, which is to say that if there's one issue with his animations that stands out to me, it's that he kind of just ends his animations without that one more hit, that one more pop to make them really, really shine for me. That said, I think the aura quality is really great. I think the revive animation is really great. We'll play that here. It's here. I think the revive animation is pretty fun, but like this is good. This is good. This is great. And then boom, looks pretty good. And then it's kind of like flaccid. It's like one more thing, it feels like, really would have tipped it off. That said, this character's issue by far is that he does not do enough damage for the damage that he does to you. If you wanted me to fix Dokkan in 2025, I could fix Dokkan in 2025 right now. Tell me if I'm tripping. Give every single character after the anniversary they've released 30 million more attack stat. Cinema. Done. You don't have to change the kits. Make Daima Vegeta hit for 40 million on average. Make this character hit for 70, 80 million on average. Make hit for like, you know, stacking. Hit stack, so it's fine. Make all the non-stacking characters. Make Kefla or Kale and Caulifla hit for 100 million and 40 million on average. But as we'll get to this character, the biggest issue with this character is that you will see some great turns from Kale. You will see some great turns from Kale. The issue is, it's not that great, is it? Like, this is a feeling I've had more and more as I've watched this character. By the way, I do love the animations for this character. People were saying the animations have been a little faulty on Kale and Caulifla, but I like them. They're great homages to Broly. There's a lot of the fun camera moving aspects that I've talked about before, but yeah, are they the best ever? I think this one's plain, but it's pretty fun because you want to have a shorter animation when it comes to characters that attack like 6 times. But yeah, the biggest issue with this character is they fucking die because they evade, and you can't evade in 2025 Dokkan if you're actually going into the hard events. So you'll essentially just see people posting clips of events that aren't interesting and then, you know, passing it off. But so what is like a thing I wanted this character to do? This character should have had this character's damage. This character was, do you guys remember? They were dropping like, if you had this character rainbowed, he was dropping like 100 million attack stats. It's crazy. I don't know why Kale's not doing that rainbowed. Like, I get it when she's not rainbowed, but her defense isn't actually good enough to make up for the fact that, like, she's not doing 100 million damage. And the game, all the characters' HP values are really high now. So when she is doing her barrage, while it kind of looks cool in theory, you're mostly just looking at the attack stat, and then you're not really watching the health bar move at all. It's bad feedback. You know, your big powerful moment doesn't have good feedback. As for Caulifla, she's just a character built for a different time. This is actually Caulifla stats. She's a character built for another time, which is to say that everything she does doesn't make sense in the context of the content that exists. This character is somehow fine in Festival of Battles because of the dodging. But if you're going to be really, really for real, this character is fine because Vegito's the best. Vegito and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta are just so powerful, right? But I've seen turns where this character has double AGL Gogeta support, like, you know, pump to hell, everything up, you know, stat buff, and then I look at the damage and I'm like, that was okay. You know what I mean? And that's weird because this is a carnival. That's the big thing. This is a carnival character who has Universe 6 as their lead. And that's nightmarish. So yeah, very odd character choices. I guess we'll move on to a quick summation of last year's Dokkan Golden Week. So let's get into that. So by comparison, and this part won't last too long because assumedly if you're watching this video, you know what Golden Week was last year. So what I'll just say is Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Goku was phenomenal. Unquestioned top TUR in the game. Then we have Majin Buu, phenomenal. Unquestionably top TUR in the game. Both very different. That is a big thing. One of them being an upfront turn 1 strong character. Slot 1. The other being a stacking set slot 2, slot 3, sometimes slot 1 if you really need him, because he is guarding while stacking. And having a Ghost Usher as well. So something he shares with Hit. As for the banner units, I would say that Gotenks was okay. Fine, I guess. This isn't really that important. It's just kind of one of those things that he didn't really matter. Didn't really see much play. Wasn't really a factor. And this Majin Buu was actually pretty good. Helped the Majin Buu team, was a valuable piece, invaluable. Essentially a character who required you be running Demon Power. And at the time, Demon Power was shaping up to be a pretty solid Majin team. So very, very nice. And then we move on into Son Gohan. And I think this is where this celebration and the current one have the most in common, because this character was really problematic, I guess, within the community, because Gohan units are just talked about. People love talking about Gohan units. Some say there's a boogeyman out there who loves Gohan more than any of us could ever know, and may he return to us someday to cause more discourse. That said, in reality, he didn't look that much different to me than what Kale and Cauliflower are up to, which is just to say that, like, for the content, they just get their job done. I do think Kale and Cauliflower are a better character overall. Don't make it sound like I'm saying that they're not, but much in the same way that Ultimate Son Gohan wasn't necessary, Cauliflower and Kale don't actually have a team right now, I think, outside, I guess, of Universe 6, that they're needed for. So they're just kind of a luxury unit, as Toon calls them. But the difference is Cauliflower and Kale are a carnival, whereas Ultimate Gohan, I believe, I'm not tripping, is a yellow coin. You know, there's a yellow coin slot typically. And one of the big things about that is it comes with a certain level of prestige that we understand, a certain pageantry that we understand. So yeah, a little odd, and that will wrap that up real quick. That's just a last year's Golden Week Passover, and I think we can kind of like come to the conclusion that I said much more positive things immediately than, you know, this year. But I mean, what about like the super easy A's, right? So we got this guy and this guy, and coming over here, we would have, I guess this would be the main easy A, and this is the Saiyan Day. This is Saiyan Day, so we cannot count him. We will not count the Saiyan Day unit. The Saiyan Day unit actually this year was this Goku. Oh no, is it? Oh no. So, do Hidden Goku count as a Saiyan Day unit, or do they count as a Golden Week unit? I guess you could say they're the same. That's a funny like delineation to make, but I'll just talk about them all. So, I will say that for my money, I prefer last year's Golden Week characters infinitely more. Because again, we run into the same problem. This year we got Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku, This character is a little bit of a funny boy. He's arguably better than the Tech Goku, the Tech Premium unit that we got, while also still having some of the annoying bits of his kit lingering around. A third slot, a floating support who is just fine, and a character that needs to float to get defense, right? Float to get defense. First and second turn, they dodge, which is funny because dodging is disabled in a lot of the actual meaningful fights. So 20%, 30%, and then a possible 46% damage reduction. No guard, I believe, and dodging. I don't know. I don't know, man. They're okay. They're fine in the same way that I think a lot of characters released to Celebration are fine. But again, giving me more shades of Kale and Cauliflower, where I'm like, if I tend to think of units as like, if you pulled, would it be worth it? And it's like, would a character with this text be worth it? Probably not. They're just okay. Whereas like, I would say the same of this character. Would I make you pull on this character? No. But if you have them, they're insanely strong, especially for the content of the time. Everything exists within its context, and I would rather have had this Boo helping out a villain team that needs it than have Hit and Goku helping out Hit's team, because I kind of already don't want to run Hit's team in a lot of content. Even though Accelerated Battle is strong, why would I run this guy when I could run, God, you know, the Fours, or Cell, or Vegito, or you know what I mean? I could keep going. I could run Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I could run Glorio. I could blah 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 blah. You want to hear me over and over again, right? So it's like, I don't really think they're necessary. Whereas you cannot argue that Tech Boo was not extremely powerful, extremely useful for the Majin Buu team, and helped fill out a team in totality that you could run. That's a big thing with this Golden Week, is that it didn't really create teams. And Dokkan is in dire need of teams right now because we are running the same shit. You know that Accelerated Battle setup I just told you about? Why run this when, like, okay, if you're running Accelerated Battle and you want to run these characters, why run this when you can click this character and do Earth Protecting Heroes, Pure Saiyans, Fuse Fighters? A lot of them are already on Accelerated Battle. A lot of them already fit into this category. Like, you're basically just trying to carry Hit through his issues, and that doesn't feel too good. Whereas you did not need to carry Boo and Goku. Strong, dominant characters, right? Strong, dominant characters. They did not need your carry. They created teams. They created the team. And that is very important. And then that leaves this Gohan, who was very strong the day he released. Not really any competition. Arguably the third best TUR, I guess. Like, I can't really picture in my mind where the lists were at the time. But extremely strong, stacking, could still technically be used today in festival battles. You know, he's a greatly increased. Tons of super attacks, guards all. The content at the time wasn't enough to really pressure him out. Yeah, just a strong EZA, a fitting EZA. And that is, again, the unfortunate part about talking about character releases is you do have to be strong in your context, right? And even though the game is much harder right now, well, make some good fucking characters. You know what I mean? So if you're like, well, these characters only had to fight Red Zone Kid Boo, it's like, well, make some strong characters. Make the character strong. Make me want to use them. Or else I'm gonna have to be honest with you, right? So that is the 10-year and 9-year. Let's maybe just look at one more thing, then we can get out of here. So the last chunk of debate here will be the content delivered in this celebration. And unlike last year, where we got a red zone, we didn't get one at all this year, which is odd. You can say that, like, well, you know, it's because we have such good fights now, and it's like they should probably have dropped a fight, right? Like, undeniably, right? They should have done something, because what we have in response is just missions. And don't get it twisted, I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people who says they should add missions every single time they update this game, because there's no reason not to. You essentially, I play a lot of like map games and stuff like that, and in those games that are essentially sandboxes, you have to create your fun. And missions are something that exists in things like map games, and they help you create that fun. They lead you towards ends. So this is fine, but Dokkan, there's essentially no way with the money that Dokkan makes that it's too expensive to have made a red zone, a Universe 6 red zone. I think every single time they drop a big fight, they could make something, a fight. They don't have to release an entire red zone, but they could make a fight. Last year we got 4 fights that were all pretty different, right? We had this super long fight here, which is really nice as a showcase stage, and we didn't really have one up until that point that was just this long. This is sort of the precursor to our current fights, where it was just super long, right? We had this stage 2, which was an AoE super, and was pretty difficult. The moment it dropped, it was packing people up. It's pretty difficult. Pretty good fight. And then we had stage 4, which had the nullification. You could either kill this character in a single hit, or you had to end up fighting the Kid Buu himself, right? So pretty good, pretty fleshed out, healthy red zone. Like, unlike a lot of red zones that we've gotten, you couldn't really argue that this was like just copy paste fights, because these are all different. These are literally all different fights, in this case though, we really just got missions. Am I missing like okay, I could go back to the, as far as April 26th. So right here we got Infinite Dragon Ball History, which isn't really I mean, it's stones, but I wouldn't count it as like interesting content. You're not redoing this fight, you're getting the stones. This was fun. This is nice. This is our first time getting free summon tickets. Is nice. And then that's it, I think. And now we have a burst mode up, right? Yeah, we have a burst mode up. So yeah, and our other content was World Tournament and Fighting Legend Frieza mission. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty no-brainer. That's a pretty no-brainer. I think I don't think we need to talk too much about that. So, with all that being said, I will also give this year's this year's Golden Week that we should be seeing. I'm actually just going to straight up give this to them. We should be seeing this character EZA next week or whatever. Like, maybe in the next few days, we should be seeing their details get announced. So yeah, I mean, there's that. And that will have added on to the list. I think that should put them sort of on parity for similar amount of good units, but certainly these two characters being phenomenal, the banner units being better, and we got the free to play EZAs. Though we did get free to play EZAs this year. We did get them this year with Tao. I don't really know how good they ended up being, if I'm brutally honest. They seem to just like make a splash and then completely disappear. And I think the Yamcha or the Tien is bad. So yeah, another possibly good EZA coming, but overall, I will have to give the Golden Week, the 2025 10-year special anniversary Golden Week. I'm gonna say a very generous 6 out of 10. Closer to a 5 than it is a 7. With all that being said, like if you like the video, subscribe to the tub. We all gonna make it. I've been alone, and peace.